Benjamin Albright. He is a host/reporter at the Broncos flagship, and he's the Broncos insider at KOA Colorado. But he's also has some national sources as well, and sources all around talking about a variety of things in the NFL. And one of those may just be what's going on with Brandon Aiyuk. He had a tweet over the weekend in regards to the Brandon Aiyuk, Aiyuk-Daniels kind of back and forth on social media. Some say it's a little beef brewing. Some say it's toxic. What's going on there? And this was what Benjamin Albright, tweeted out. You are all getting played by a fake BA/JD beef. It's all an act. And this is what Brandon Aiyuk Instagram storied out over the weekend. Take a listen.
Probably gonna text me talking about something. You on my team now. You follow my rules. Boy, I'm a grown-ass man, boy. You gonna have to start running behind your mama, and I might believe what you talking about. But until then,
And that was in reference to Aiyuk-Daniels. Joining us now on the River Islands guest line, Benjamin Albright. Ben, good morning. Spadoni and Shasky here with you. We're just trying to dissect, again, which we've been doing all summer, the latest Brandon Aiyuk Instagram story, and now it's this potential beef between his old quarterback at Arizona State, Aiyuk-Daniels, and who a lot of people thought in Washington, potentially his future quarterback as well. Is there anything to read here? Because I saw your tweet over the weekend saying that this is all an act, potentially. Do you still believe that?
I mean, from Aiyuk's side, yeah, Aiyuk is all over the map. There's been questions about his mental makeup since, dating well back at Arizona State and all that kind of stuff. I don't think anybody that ever scouted him or anything is sort of surprised by the way that he is. But as far as the rest of this stuff goes, those guys have been boys for a long time. And I will tell you, a lot of the stuff that's floating around out there is fake. There's some fake screenshots floating around out there that people are retweeting as real, claiming they were deleted that aren't real at all. Somebody saying they unfollowed each other. Dude, Aiyuk hit the block button and the unblock button. You can remove someone as a follower. And there's some of this stuff. He got his feelings a little hurt by that video that it looked like Aiyuk-Daniels was laughing at him. And then after that, they're fine again. So, Aiyuk wants out. Everybody knows that. But a lot of this stuff has been manufactured with social media making speculative claims that aren't real.
Okay, so what? Okay, I'm trying to sift through that. I know what you were saying about he did this, he did that. What is real right now in terms of, do the Commanders want to bring him in immediately whenever his situation resolves itself with the Niners?
That hinges on whether Aiyuk-Daniels wants him or not, and they do. But that's where that sits. Like, they're fine without it. But, they like the idea of bringing him in. Of course, Adam Peters knows, about Aiyuk-Daniels. About Aiyuk, and Aiyuk-Daniels knows about Aiyuk and all that kind of stuff. There's a supreme talent there who can keep his head on straight. It's the same thing with, or a similar situation, I think, to, Antonio Brown. You're bringing in an elite talent, but what are you getting in terms of the headspace? And you got a quarterback or somebody that can keep him in line. And so I think that's where the Commanders sit right now. I got friends on that staff. They know what he is. They know what he brings to the table, but they also can't really kind of be public or vociferous about anything right now because there's that tampering, they don't want to get into.
So I want to ask this then. Is the league as a whole viewing the way the 49ers are operating? Are they saying that they're doing something against Brandon Aiyuk, or are people in alignment with how the 49ers are handling this?
Oh, everybody, I think, is in line with how the Niners are handling this. I mean, they understand that when Aiyuk does eventually report, there's a chance to be petty. But right now, it benefits the Niners to do nothing, right? As long as he doesn't report, the cap implications here push this thing out to a de facto retirement. And so it pushes money out to the future years. The Niners are doing everything the way they're supposed to. Aiyuk's the one who fired his agent. Aiyuk's the one who's, is not reported for reinstatement and all that kind of stuff. And so the ball's in his court. The Niners don't have to do anything here. They are the good guy until otherwise.
NFL insider Benjamin Albright joining us here on the River Islands guest line. And Ben, I'm also wondering about his potential, for other teams outside of the Commanders. So if the Commanders say, no, we don't want to bring you in, is he kind of just going to get iced out of the league?
Well, no, because you've got some desperate teams out there as well. And the question, would Aiyuk take the money to go to the desperate teams? I mean, you look at Miami, I think Tutu Atwell's a starting receiver for them right now. There's some teams out there that are just desperate for bodies. And so I think that, there's the opportunity for him to get additional chances from other teams, but certainly competitive teams are going to take a lengthy pause before they consider bringing him in. I think his options are basically down to the Commanders and the desperate.
Well, no, it's a great point, because that's what I was wondering. Like, if I'm a team that's like, I don't know, the Raiders or like the Dolphins, and they're clearly in a rebuild, why would they want to add a player as potentially as toxic as Brandon Aiyuk would be my question.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. It's basically if you need to sell some tickets or something, or you need to, then you bring a guy like that in and you say, look, we're giving him a second chance. You do it on a deal that's chock full of incentives and gives you a lot of outs for behavior, and go from there. You obviously don't load him up like the Niners' last contract where they try to do right by him. So I think there's opportunities for that. But again, desperation makes fools of us all, and so you'll wind up seeing somebody giving him that second, third chance if it's not the Commanders.
Okay. You referenced like what's real, what's not real. Again, young people, I'm not going to pretend to know every little nuance and what's a joke and what's not. But what is your interpretation of Brandon Aiyuk making a comment about Aiyuk-Daniels' mother? That's part of the joke, or that's something that he said and then he wants back. Like I'm having a hard time with that specific video.
Yeah. Okay. So here's what was conveyed to me on that video is that I don't think he was literally talking about his mother. I think he was talking about a certain figure in the Commanders organization and was calling that his mother. In an effort, like, you can't say anything in public right now while we're trying to let this thing play out, is something someone said to Aiyuk-Daniels, and that's what Aiyuk is allegedly referencing. I don't know that to be 100% true, but that's somebody who would know those kinds of things telling me that.
Hey, Benjamin, appreciate the time this morning on short notice, and appreciate your time as always. I did see another one of your tweet about FIFA. Did you see the latest statement from the president, Gianni? Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it this morning. I was up late watching the game, so I haven't mined Twitter yet this morning.
Oh, you trust me, you'll love it.
I got one random one for you, though, just on the way out the door. Yeah. At the NBA, Major League Baseball, there is a ton of guys getting popped for essentially tanking and taking money for prop bets. Is there anybody in the NFL that could possibly have this happen to them? Offensive linemen, DBs, wide receivers. Like, I don't know. I'm a little surprised the NFL has not been involved in this whatsoever. Am I making too many jumps of a conclusion because of the no guaranteed contracts?
Well, that's part of it. The other part of it, because they don't want to jeopardize their money. Part of this is it's so difficult in the NFL to do things like that, right? Because it's a dependent league. Receivers are dependent on quarterbacks to throw them the ball in the first place. So there's not, it's not a situation where I get the ball, I shoot the ball, I miss the shot, kind of situation. Receivers and running backs could technically manipulate unders in certain ways, falling down early, not getting yardage totals. But outside of those position groups, it's very tough to manipulate the unders in football versus basketball or hockey or something like that. So I think that's a part of the reason. Now, we have seen guys get popped for gambling. Obviously, we've seen mostly receivers, Calvin Ridley, Jameson Williams. We did see Wazariki on the defensive line in Denver, but most of those guys are just placing bets inside the facility, and that's really what they're up against. So I don't think that you're going to see that level of manipulation in the NFL just because it's difficult to do.
Yeah.
But, that said, I mean, I've been wrong before. I'm sure I'll be wrong again.
Do you anticipate Sorsby to get drafted at all next year?
Man,
yeah.
Maybe. Like, there was a lot of hype about him. That supplemental draft stuff was kind of funny because people were talking about, he could have been a first rounder. I didn't talk to anybody that thought that he was anything more than day 3 guy. So I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze. We'll see as it rolls back around. But if you lie to the league, they're not going out of their way to put a supplemental draft together for you. And he's shown little to no remorse, pretending he's the victim of something he created. And I don't know. League doesn't look at that very favorably.
Oh, wait, I got one more for you because you are based out of Denver. I did see some chirping and chattering that potentially the Nuggets could be a landing spot for LeBron. Like, do you think that's realistic at all? Because we're here in Golden State, right? We're hoping that we could pair him and Steph and Draymond together.
I would say that based on what I know at this point, and having talked to people in the Nuggets team, I'm fortunate enough to have a source over there at Crossing Sports, that I would say that LeBron's Final Four includes both Golden State and Denver, as well as a return to Cleveland.